Recently, I've had a bunch of people ask for advice on getting good at pixel art. Now, I've never really thought that I was overly that good at pixel art, but I guess I've passed some kind of threshold of skill, so I'll share some advice that I think is valuable for getting better at pixel art. The best advice that I've ever heard for getting better, and this applies to more than just pixel art, is to just start drawing and don't stop. To paraphrase Amy McNee, draw a bunch of crap art on purpose. Don't spend too much time on each thing, the idea is just to get it done and move on. You'll learn little bits and pieces with each drawing that you can then experiment with on the next one and build up internalized techniques automatically. Pixel Dailies is a great resource for random daily prompts for stuff to draw. Once you've drawn something, you can always have a look at what other people have done to compare and contrast your own work. Just remember that some of these other drawings are done by people with a great deal more experience, so don't be too hard on yourself. A few years ago, I helped make a pixel art game for ABC News, the Australian one, not the American one. I had to draw a ton of pixel art, and at that time, I didn't really have that much experience drawing pixel art. So I watched a few Mortmort tutorials on YouTube, linked to his channel in the description, and just started drawing. I didn't really have the time to fuss too much about any one drawing, so that ruled out being any kind of perfectionist. By the end of the project, I knew I hadn't drawn the world's best pixel art, but I was definitely happy with the result, and I had learned a great deal about colour, line work, and shape illusions. And that game won a bunch of news awards, so that was a nice bonus. Fast forward to now, and lots of practice later, I feel like most of the time I can draw what's in my head. However, there are definitely still times where what comes out is total garbage. Crap art that wasn't on purpose. Recently, I've been drawing new scenery for my adventure game, and in doing that I had two good examples of struggling to get things to look right. The first was this waterfall. I like the way it looks now, but it was definitely a struggle to get there. I tried a bunch of things that very much did not look good. Then I tried something that is obvious in hindsight, and is used by some of the pixel masters that I've seen share their process: draw a guide first. So I did some quick calculations and drew a perspective grid as a guide. Then I drew a quick 2-frame flicker, and that was already looking better. Then I added some detail lines, and while it was getting better, it still looked too choppy, so I added a round of in-between lines. And that was enough for the basic animation. Then, in Godot, I added 2 particle emitters, one big one for the bottom splashing and a smaller one for a bit of light wash at the top. And that's it. I'm happy with the look of this. The second example was this palm tree. This one was difficult even with a guide. Sometimes you have to brute force a drawing by just drawing it over and over, and that's kind of what I did with this one. The first time I drew it, the relative perspective was off and the whole thing just looked too floppy and weird. The next few times ended up being too busy and just looked like a mess. And then I think the 4th or 5th time actually started looking good. I think the trick there was to just simplify. This kind of pixel art isn't about looking real, it's more about just looking right for the scene. The good thing about pixel art is there are only so many pixels to arrange, so it has to look good for one of them eventually. Both of these examples kind of bring me back to the idea of just drawing lots of art. With each drawing comes more knowledge of what works and what doesn't for each situation. You can't help but get better with each drawing because whether you're aware of it or not, you're learning new stuff and picking up new techniques and theories that you can use on the next bit of art. As they say, quality comes from quantity. And speaking of quality, if you like this video then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This video was brought to you with the support of my patrons. This month's Cockatoo patrons are Comrade Crunchy, Mark Lucia, Skier, and Vanillid. This month's Our patron is Linus Minus. If you want to help support my work, then become a patron today. Link in the description. That's all from me for now. Until next time, make sure to draw lots of crap art on purpose. Bye.